we saying? What do you got to say, Smalls? Come on over here and talk to them.
Well, America is in an election year. We see the kind of choices we have.
No, it ain't close that.
I think that, but that speaks a lot. Many people snicker at Donald Trump, but there are Americans voting for him in great numbers.
Right.
And we know how crass Donald Trump has been. He has insulted women. He's insulted the handicapped. He's insulted African Americans. There's almost no group that escapes his wrath. So what does that say about America? Is it a positive? Is it a negative? Audience participation. What do you think? Is it a negative or is it a positive? Of Trump, the Trump dynamic. What does that say about America? What does it say about the people that he has gone to? He is the Republican nominee.
Good point. Good question.
Position to be the president of the United States. So a large segment of this population thought he was qualified.
And you know what? That's a good point. When the masses of the majority of Europeans voted for Donald Trump, what does that say about the Europeans? Right, see? So that's showing you that Europeans, they are still racist. They are still fighting that. You know, we still fighting that to this day. So the majority of the white man is voting for Donald Trump. What does that say about white people? Yeah, we know that, but we talk about Donald Trump has came out in the public and said some outrageous things.
But that's the dangerous part about Hillary Clinton, that she's not upfront with it. She's more of a low-key type of person where she'll take your money, she'll abuse you, she'll use your backs for labor and take all that shit and try to act like, oh, everything's all right, I'm doing good for the people. Exactly. She's a smart person. That's the issue. Exactly. That's the issue with her. She's dangerously, she's killing everyone silently. Who funds who funds her campaign? Wall Street. She has nothing to say about none of that, right? The only person that has something to say was Bernie. Bernie called out everybody, every single body, but people are too scared to vote for Bernie. That's why the Democratic Party didn't even support Bernie, because they know the Democratic Party is all bullshit. They're like low-key Republicans. They fund this whole economic fucking capitalist society that we live in because they're so funded with like power and money. The Democrats just want to be the Republicans because they want that power. They want that money. Like at the end of the day, like they're both bullshit. Like ain't nobody capable of running this fucking country because we're all in shambles at this point. Like what we need is a fucking revolution.
Exactly.
Like
come on, sister.
That's all we need right now because at the end of the day, ain't nothing working for us.
Now, sister, hold on. Excuse me, brother.
Exactly.
Because he's the only one that's
willing to say
but why
something.
should have to settle for him?
Exactly.
Sister, are they with you?
Yes.
Now listen, I'm gonna show you something. You see this, sister? A true example of a black woman. I want you to look at her, and now look at who she's with, and look at who she's touring with. She's not biting her tongue one time for this truth. She's not compromising. What do you think about her? Come on, give it up for her. There you go, man. That's right.
Yeah.
There you go. So that's a true black woman right there.
Exactly.
Because a lot of them are coward and don't bite their tongue.
Right.
She ain't bite her tongue.
And I bet you have known that about her for a while. She has that kind of spirit. Okay, and I'm sure that was part of the appeal of the friendship. I think in America we have to get to a place where we everybody can each other. And this is a very manly history that formed this country. So the blood, sweat, and tears of people that have died are still looking for some balance, so important. Because I know over this time, the 1% was already wealthy, and it got even more extremely wealthy. The middle class has shrunk, and the poor has expanded. And I think in history, the stats would support me that there are more families in poverty. Meaning mother, child, and even fathers, whole families are now. Have any of you been through Penn Station?
Want to?
Recently? You literally have to step over families when you go to Penn Station. This is a deplorable condition. I'm fortunate enough to be in business for myself. I'm a pretty successful personal trainer. So I go to some of the swankiest addresses in New York. But as I'm going to these buildings that are skyscrapers, I'm walking past individuals 1 block away looking for a meal out of a garbage can. Now, a society that has major disparities like that cannot stand. That's just a fact as we look through history. But we want feedback. So what would you like to share about your experience here in Harlem?
Well, so far, we're all actually students part of a human rights-based program.
Okay.
So we're all together working on talking about these kind of issues. So like a couple days ago, we took a tour and kind of had a tour on Black Gotham. So learning about how Wall Street was built by black people, and then walking around and seeing so many people not realize like the impact of that. So like coming here is like a whole nother part that we wanted to like experience this part of New York City.
So is this like a class assignment?
We're part of like a study abroad program that focuses a study abroad program kind of, and so we're all together focusing on like human rights based issues.
Okay, now study abroad, but the school is here in the States.
We're all together.
Okay, but so now it's obviously America. When you say study abroad, do you all travel together, or how does that work?
We are all meeting up in New York to like kind of study human rights in New York, but like, where y'all posted this? Where is this going? You know what? Hold on. But this is gonna be on my computer. You know, I'm not.
Exactly.
We're just okay. So personally, I wanted to come to Harlem like all my life. Like I'm from Minnesota by way of Somalia, but like studying like the Harlem Renaissance and like the Black Power movement, Civil Rights movement, I feel very connected to Harlem. And we only just got off the subway and y'all stopped us. Like we didn't get to see shit.
Yeah. So this is your first experience, right? So y'all got off the train. People bum rush over with cameras, right? But hey, Harlem is one of the central places in the world. So I know we're at the beginning of the journey. Y'all know you're across from the Apollo Theater. We have the Harlem State Office Building. But the people that have walked these streets, y'all know Malcolm X. Have you heard of Marcus Garvey? Okay, y'all know of the major group that will form UNIA, the Nation of Islam. Any other groups you want to mention that are historic?
5% Nation.
The 5% Nation.
Nation of Gods and Earth.
The Nation of Gods and Earth.
You ever heard of that?
You have? Where? What was your source?
Through Malcolm, you find the Nation of Islam. Through the Nation of Islam, you find all these sects. You find like Busta Rhymes, I think, is a 5%er, and all these things. Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Now, if I was a professor, she would be getting an A by now. You've been quiet and you ain't say much. So let's get some input. So where are you from, and what has been your impression?
I'm from Newark, New Jersey, so like a really like kind of big city like this. It's just like really cool to be in like Harlem, like a place that has a lot of like black history and like importance and shit, and like thinking about the way that like culture like kind of survives even despite like the fact that like black bodies are like being killed like every day, the fact that like people are like scared to walk outside because you know like they might get shot by people who are supposed to be protecting them, and like thinking about the ways that like our culture still survives like even in like toxic environments like these, you know. So
we must be made of some pretty tough stuff.
Yeah,
I totally agree.
I wish your wife was here.
Oh, that I know. And your input. Where are you from?
I'm from Los Angeles, California.
Okay, so the comparison, New York and Los Angeles. Yeah, spread out.
Huh?
Your thoughts about being in New York?
I don't know. It's interesting to see how like segregated these major cities are, because I know LA is very, very segregated. Like you have the white communities and then everybody else together. And just coming from like a very interesting school where we learned about the Harlem Renaissance, the Harlem Renaissance? Yeah, the Harlem Renaissance, and we read authors like Langston Hughes, Zora Neale Hurston, all that stuff, and just being able to like be put into context and like just trying to see everything we like read about.
So this is like a field trip. Is there an instructor with you all? So you all just scheduled to meet together? Now, no one has big up the school yet, so you know the name of the school.
Oh, we're all from different schools, so I come.
Oh, from different schools. How is this working?
We're like
from different schools and all across the country. Whose idea was this? Who's funding this?
The name of the study abroad organization.
Yeah, and the funding. I mean, since from different schools, who fits the bill?
I think that depends on each like school's like study abroad and global ed the kind of agreements. Okay. But the name of the study abroad school is IHP.
IHB?
Yeah, International Honors Program, and it's like through SIT, which is Student
Studies and School of International Training. Yeah,
Yeah.
Wow, impressive, impressive. So any other impressions you want to leave about your great visit to Harlem? What is the next stop? Or y'all just going to move and see where?
Yeah, we're gonna walk. I'm excited to see it.
Where should we go? Do you
have any idea?
No, wow. Have y'all heard of the Schomburg Library? The Schomburg? You've heard about it. So is that already on the schedule? That's on the list. Okay, cool. Oh my goodness. So she has a lineup for y'all. But when you get to the Schomburg, dive in. There's volumes and volumes about the history of Harlem. Hopefully you have about an hour or so to mingle. But thank you for sharing your thoughts, your insights. Remember, this is Brother Sarnetta. You were on Sarnetta TV. It's going to be on YouTube. It takes generally a few days to post. But enjoy the rest of your stay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. And I'm sorry, I want to get on film real quick. Hold on one second. This young lady just came here. Now, you know, first of all, where are you from?
I'm from Brooklyn.
Okay, that's why. That's why. She was up in here running things. You can only be from some part of New York. Yeah, you can only be from some part of New York and bring the fire and the energy. Where do you get that passion to seek the knowledge and know it and then be forthcoming to speak it?
I definitely feel like it's the environment that I went to college in, and definitely where I grew up. Like, I grew up with 2 deaf parents, so I knew the struggle of like having to defend someone that's defenseless and having like trying to give a voice to people that don't have a voice. And like when you're little, you don't really know what's really going on. But once I went to college, like we both go to most of us go to predominantly white institutions where it's very like AJ said, like very toxic, and it's an environment where like it doesn't allow you to grow. But when you seek that knowledge, when you want to learn more about yourself, like coming into college, it's like you feel like, oh, I'm excited, like I'm ready to do this. But once you're taking these classes and like most of your professors are ignoring like your identity and ignoring like parts of you, like you start feeling lonely. Like you start trying to figure out like who you really are. Right. And that's when you start trying to seek like these different classes, like African American feminism, like really opened my eyes about how black women are positioned in society, like in this world, and continuing on from there, like trying to learn more and like figuring out like mobilizing with one another, like forming a community and like learning from one another's experience and kind of like
you said
understanding.
Something I gotta ask more about. You said, to paraphrase you, the professors are kind of ignoring who you are.
Yeah.
Now, is that overt? Is that covert? How does that play out?
That's a really good question. I feel like it's more covert.
Okay.
Because it's like the professors, they don't know exactly what. Okay, so like if you're in a class with 20 white people and you're the only black person in there, the teacher's not gonna like sympathize over you. Like they're gonna ask you the question when you know that black person comes in. They're gonna be like, oh my God, how do you feel about this passage? Like, oh, so what do you think about this? And it's kind of like the literature we read about old dead white men. Like, why do we need to know about them? They ain't got shit to say.
Right.
Like they ain't got nothing to say that I don't know about. Like. What's the difference?
Okay, I'm going to share something, and I want to know, have you all seen this? I'm in a college also, BMCC. I don't know if any of you have heard of that.
I've heard of it.
Now, there's a mix of professors, but the American professors, they speak American English, but in BMCC, maybe more than half. Sure. Okay. Come right over. Okay, sorry, guys.
Yeah, that way we don't block up the street too.
Right. And at BMCC, the white professors speak in their regular pace, and if you know you got half of the students that are foreign students, slowing down your tempo just a little can help them understand. Yeah. But there's no effort to do that at all. It's almost like get with it, and I thought that wasn't. I mean, a teacher, a professor especially, and these are all young people from different parts of the world. Many of them just learning English, but then guess what? The foreign professors, I guess they went through the process of getting into that education. They do speak slowly. They do go to the students from other places and make sure they understand. So I thought when you said covert, it's almost like along that line.
Yeah. At the same time, you think about it, why would you want to bring accessibility to people and give them higher education when in reality you want to keep all that power to yourself? It's like, for instance, like being in a class with all white people, like why would my professor try to give me books and literature about black excellence so I can surpass them? They're just afraid of people of color gaining the knowledge that they need to gain to be successful. That's why mainstream education is bullshit. Most of what we learn is things to keep us within that hierarchy of like, you're going to stay in your class. Like, America's one of the places where it's the hardest to move up in class, to move up in life, and everyone wants this American dream and this American like folktale about like being successful and all that. But at the end of the day, what is that? In order to be successful, you need to be complicit in the system. You need to be able to like kiss ass and be able to be like, all right, what you're doing is right. What I'm doing is following your step, because what I want to do is like gain your power. But in reality, they're giving us that false notion of like, I'm giving you a power if you're learning about what I want to learn. But the key difference is that, okay, what do you want to learn? You want to learn like lessons to keep my mind oppressed, to keep me in these chains. You know what I mean? It's like they don't want you to learn all this. That's why these things are not mainstream. In order for us to find things like this, like we have to come to Harlem, go to like literature stores, like we have to come to museums to kind of try to find out who our own people are. But when you open up these textbooks and you see these slaves handcuffed, happy as hell, oh no, slaves are happy. We were giving them something that they weren't getting back in Africa.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like it's that like difference between understanding like.
And
You're gonna be able to watch.
yeah, and recently.
You know this is the resurrection of Isaac Hayes.
Here we go. Don't start that stuff. And that's gonna be the end of Sardetta. But you know, you mentioned something that was so important. So how do we pull it all together? How do we escape that kind of environment and make it to truth? Because truth is what we're here to find.
Yeah, I think that's a very loaded question. It's difficult for people to kind of go outside their comfort zone. Like to tell someone that what they're learning is false, that their reality is false, like that's a hard thing to take in. Like it was even hard for me to kind of understand that like shit isn't pretty. And I feel like the most basic thing for everyone to understand is like basic education. Having an education that's not Eurocentric, having an education that does not focus only about Europeans that came and conquered the world. Meanwhile, we have indigenous folks in the middle of the country, isolated, neglected. No one knows about what's happening to the Native Americans right now. Like their cultures are being destroyed right now. We're going through a modern day genocide by putting them in these reservations, not acknowledging their culture, not acknowledging their language. Like what are they doing for them? Nothing. And we don't even know about that. We sit here talking about mainstream issues, but like there's little things that are going on in America that we don't know nothing about. And what we need is professors and teachers and educators and listeners to tell us about shit like this. Like tell us that things like this are happening. And that's why like I appreciate the group that we're in, because we're acknowledging all of those differences. We're acknowledging the difference between people of color in this institution, because it's not only black people.
It's very true.
It's people of color, and it's sad because lighter skinned people of color are oppressed to a point where they think that, oh, because I'm lighter, like I benefit from this white system. That's what white people want to do. They want to open up the whiteness. They want to open up the whiteness to continue that power. Because if they keep closing it off, it's like, all right, well, there's 3 white people and then there's like thousands of other people. They don't want that. They want to open it up to make you feel like you have the power. You know, you can reach that. Okay, I can reach that. You know what? I'm going to stick with them. And if we all come together and realize that each and every one of us is oppressed in some way, somehow, imagine the oppressors like versus the oppressed. We have so many like distinguished like minority groups in this country that if we all rally together, we can overthrow anything that's happening. But the issue is that we're playing like Sada likes to say, the oppressive Olympics. Like we want to sit here and be like, well, I'm more oppressed than you. Well, in reality, we're just both oppressed. Like let's keep it plain and simple. Like imagine everyone coming together and trying to do something. It's exactly, there isn't any unity, and that's the issue.
Right. But the lack of unity is by design as well.
Exactly, of course.
Divide and conquer.
Exactly, that's what they want.
Pit the young against the old, this class against that class, and always everyone thinking I can be one step up instead of looking at all the victims down at the bottom. So solutions. The rest of the time that you're going to give us here, how do we solve this? What are some of the solutions you feel that might help?
I don't even know. Like, getting some woke-ass teachers. That's what we need.
That's a good place to start.
Yes, we need some woke teachers in high school and middle school to kind of like shape these kids' minds, because like everyone thinks low of teachers, and teachers are the ones shaping America, shaping the next generation. So wouldn't you want a teacher that understands what's going on? Like when I grow up, I want a teacher that knows what the fuck they talking about to teach my kids. I don't want them to teach them some bullshit that 5-10 years later they're telling me like, oh, I know this. And no, I want teachers that are well educated in all fields, in all areas. That's how it starts, because that's when people, like when you're young, that's when you start thinking critically and want to challenge.
Right. Then if it starts there are so many other cultures where the profession of teaching is a very highly honored profession. Now here, the Western paradigm, doctor, I ain't got nothing against doctors. Lawyer, I ain't got nothing against, but teachers are down by like MTA workers or something, you know, and not anything against MTA workers. I mean, but the point is, teachers should be the highest honored profession of the society because you're shaping the minds of tomorrow. But they pay them horribly. The work conditions. I mean, they got 40 students inside a class. They got a test. They got to teach to a test. I mean, how limiting is that?
But that's the point. Why would you want to give teachers that high remark? Because everyone that can do the teaching skills is going to want to do it. Most teachers that are like great ass teachers are the ones that don't have the resources to be teachers because they can't afford to be in an environment where it pays less. They can't afford to be in an environment where they're not put into like high standards because they don't have the resources to do that. That's why you don't see a lot of people of color that are teachers because they're like, nah, I need the money. Like it's this capitalist thing where it's like, nah, in order to succeed, I need the money. Exactly. And I feel like, and the thing, prep and private school, like look at those teachers. Those are some, they have some woke ass teachers in private school, but you got to pay guap to get that. It's like.
So, and then now quickly, charter schools, is that a plus, is that a minus, is that a joke, or is that more of a business angle to education? She's going to say no comment on that one.
This is really hard. I know.
This, all right?
Now, I went to public school all my life, and I believe public. I believe public schools are a way to learn. Charter schools, on the other hand, I don't know how it's run, and I don't really fucks with it because I've heard articles about how charter schools basically fund this whole prison put to school pipeline and stuff. So I'm a little like worried because of the fact that businesses own charter schools. Like, how does that function? It's like people pay money to kind of build this like institution, and it's, for me, it's just like capitalist consumer atmosphere where it's like, it's a business and your education shouldn't even be a business.
Exactly.
So I don't get that.
So how many of you all plan to be professors, teachers, instructors? 1, 2. Any hands in back? Okay, we got 2 committed. So you got the camera on them. Remember, we're going to elevate this profession, guys. So when you get there, because you already know you want to teach and shape minds. So if we get more people on the front line that care, I think we'll be a better society. So in closing, what would you like to say? Okay, your name?
Suzanne.
And again, you're all from different schools, but what is your school?
The college I go to?
Yes.
Trinity College in Hartford, Connecticut.
Okay, Trinity College. And to the viewers that are part of the conscious community, what last piece of advice would you like to give, or what words of motivation would you like to leave them with?
Stay woke.
Whoa, that was powerful. Stay woke. Which means also, don't go to sleep. Queen, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
You are so welcome. You're so welcome. Peace. Thank you. Now, if y'all want to see a clip, is there a card? Is there contact info?
They just gave us a card.
Oh, so you have to, do you all have a card?
Yeah.
A card that I can take?
Yeah.
Y'all are cardless people?
Yeah.
All right, then you got to look here to get all the information, okay?
For sure.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Peace and Black Power, family. You already know what it is. I'm here with one of our brothers. He go by the name of The Main Interest. And this brother be dropping some jewels, man. I just need y'all to sit back, relax, and listen to what the brother got to say. He want to open up our eyes right quick. Talk to us, Main Interest. Main Interest.
Main Interest is on 125th Street right now. Getting ready to drop this science and this wisdom to you live right now, because there's a lot of things that's going on in this black neighborhood right now that the people that live here got their eyes closed and their ears stuffed up. They ain't hearing what's going on, nor they seeing what's going on. Just recently, they closed the supermarket on 116th Street and Lexington Avenue or 3rd Avenue. That's one of the last supermarkets where the black person can go shopping at. They closed down the Pathmark on 125th Street and Lexington Avenue. That was a place where they're supposed to go shopping at. They closed that down. So what's the science behind all that? Where we going to go and buy some things to eat at if we ain't got our own farm, our own place to grow food at, so we can feed ourselves? And the reality of it is, we better start thinking about that, because we don't have no trucks importing no food to us in America. And if we don't get no food imported to America, we're going to be hungry. We're going to be starving. And what's the side behind that? They figure we ain't got no place to go shopping at, then we ain't going to have no place to live, because we got to eat. but we ain't got no place to sleep. So they're moving us out. Slowly but surely, by doing small things like that there. The mama and father store they had over there, they closed them down, and then they built the Pathmark. And the Pathmark was built over there by a pastor who was well-known, Calvin Butts. But he had sold us out and supposed to build the low-income houses over there. But how you gonna build low-income houses next to a supermarket when the people don't have no place to stay? So if you ain't got no place to sleep, how you gonna go to work? So those same people who were looking for a place to stay got a supermarket. And when the supermarket was built, those same people were sleeping around the supermarket all night and day. And they were supposed to get jobs inside the Pathmark. But they didn't have no place to sleep, so they couldn't get to work on time. So eventually, they had to close that supermarket down. Now it's closed down. The next one they moved to was on 116th Street. Keep your eyes open. Keep your eyes open. Keep your ears open. See what's going on around you. Be conscious of things. You got to be conscious of what's going on around you. Because there are a lot of things that are happening, and that the brothers and sisters here, they act like nothing's going on. But before you know it, we're going to be disappeared. And that's the whole game plan. This is why I said life is how you see things, and it takes two people to see life how it is. So open your eyes. Stop by and talk to the brothers. Hear what the brothers got to say, because there's a lot of things happening in your community, brother. Your rent is going up high. You got doormen letting you in your own building. You ain't never had no black man open up the door for you, welcoming you home. What kind of mess is that there? Every time you turn around, they're squeezing the building in the smallest crack that they can find just to move in, because you can't afford the rent. They ain't giving you no job. And what they're doing now, all the buildings they're doing now up in Harlem, if you notice that they're making all these buildings up in Harlem shelters. The black man don't have an apartment no more. He lives in a shelter. The black woman lives in a shelter with 4 and 5 kids. Her husband living in a shelter. You think living in a shelter is okay? No. You're living in a shelter. All they build in Harlem now is shelters for the black man to live in. You don't have no apartment because you can't afford the rent.
That's right.
You see that?
What is your take on What is your take on this presidential campaign, this stuff that's going on with Hillary, and of course, you know the sucker man. Who they call him? What's his name again?
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. What's your take on that?
My take on the Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton battle is this here. We can't trust Hillary Clinton because when her husband was the president, he got an office in Harlem, and when he got the office in Harlem, all the rent went up. All the rent went up, and the people couldn't stay here. So she's following our same footsteps. All they are about is capital, wanting to get some money. Trump got money. He making things sound good for the black man because the black man has been so abused and abused for so long that they want to try something else. He's talking about, yo, try me. I'll set you free. This is what he's talking about. Neither one of them is trustworthy to be trusted. Right now, we're in a hell of a situation if we need a president to represent us. We're in serious trouble right now. And we don't have no black man in that position trying to become president. And the same people that enslaved you and beat you all day long, how you going to trust them? The Democrats ain't never did nothing for us. Political people ain't never did nothing for us. Ain't nobody doing nothing for black people, and black people need to do something for themselves if they say that black lives matter. How can black lives matter when you ain't doing nothing for yourself? You won't even stop by and drop a word with the brother that gave me the mic today. I stopped by and spoke my piece to the brother, and for y'all to hear this here. That's right. So how can black lives matter? You got to make a change. You got to change yourself. Do things for yourself. Love your brother. Treat your brother with respect. Treat your mama with respect. You know, love your people, man. That's the only way this thing gonna work. I'm standing right now, right across from the Apollo Theater. This is where I'm standing now. Who owns the Apollo Theater right now?
Talk about it.
At first, it was Percy Sutton. It was gangsters. They sent the guy Fisher. They done got rid of him. and set them upstate. Now you got Warner Brother taking over the Apollo Theater, showing only white shows. They ain't got no more brothers entertaining you at the Apollo Theater. This is sold out right now. And y'all think that y'all doing something, y'all ain't doing nothing. And the other thing they doing right now, anytime they giving you some money, they want you to put a wig on, some hot pants, or make yourself transgender.
Go ahead, talk.
They don't want you to be a man no more. They want you to be sissified. You know what I'm saying? And they paying you to become a homo. Because this way, when once you become a homo, you don't produce shit. You can't make no baby. 2 men can't make a baby. 2 women can't make no baby. This is what they want you to do. And why they do that is stop the population from growing. They got many of us in jail. They pay $30,000 a month to house one black man in jail. They pay $3,000 a month to house you in a shelter. If they can pay $3,000 a month to house a black man inside of a shelter, why can't they get him an apartment? They pay $30,000 a year to house a black man in jail. Why can't they give him a place to stay on the street? Huh? We got to look at things like that there. And ain't nobody saying nothing about it because they're getting food stamps, they're getting Medicaid, they're getting all this stuff here that make them comfortable. As long as you get welfare and food stamps, you don't even want to work. You don't even want to work for yourself.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
Why are these churches who have ministers in them have all these gay people running around in their church and say nothing? Why? And we know that it's against God. You know what I'm saying? We know that's against God. To be gay or to be a man messing with a man and a woman messing with a woman is wrong. And it says it in the Bible.
Yes, sir.
Why are these preachers allowing this to go on?
One of the main reasons why the preachers allow this going on, because see, when the preachers open up the Bible, they know everything that's going on in the book. But when you deal with the Bible, you got to read what the cover of the Bible says. The Bible says the word Bible. You got to know what that word means. A lot of people don't know what the word Bible means. I can ask 100 people out here, what does the word Bible stand for? Okay? You know what the book means, but what does the word stand for? In case you don't know, let me break it down to you. The word Bible stands for basic instructions before leaving Earth. Just like your cell phone came with instructions, just like your flat screen TV came with instructions, we know and believe that the Almighty God didn't create us without giving us no instructions. The problem with it is that ain't nobody trying to find out what our instructions are. So they're out of bounds. The bird, the squirrel, the fish in the sea, all of them are in bounds because they know the rules. They know who's in charge of this thing here. You see, and when you deal with preachers like that don't know the meaning of the word Bible, then they're subject to take bribes. They take bribes. They take money under the table. You see what I'm saying? To justify their wrongdoing. Because one thing about people of color, they like a good lie.
That's right. Go ahead.
They love a good lie.
Go ahead,
and the problem we have as black people, we don't trust one another. You see? And we don't know the truth. So we need to know the truth so we can bear witness to what another brother is saying.
But the mistrust, where do the mistrust come from, brother? You saying that we don't trust one another. Where does that come from? Because after all these years, Malcolm then came, Elijah then came, Farrakhan is here, you got this brother here, this sister here. Why are people still in that condition? Why they don't trust one another?
We don't trust one another, brother, because it's very difficult to agree on the same shit. We don't agree on nothing.
Why though?
I can tell you your suit is all red.
Right.
He can tell you, yeah, it's red, but it's a light red. To me, it's still red. So we can go back and forth because we ain't agreeing on the same thing. That's our problem. We got to agree on what is the truth and what is a lie. A white man can tell another white man that this white man built the pyramid. He won't say he didn't. He'll say, I agree with it. But if you tell a black man that, he going to say, well, when did he build it? He ain't going to say he agree with you. He going to say, when did he do it?
But where did it come from?
And now what he does, he don't even give you the Bible or the gun no more. He just give you money and put a stamp on the back of the money that says, in God we trust. Got you killing each other over a dollar bill. You see that? Got each other killing each other over $1 money.
Where do money come from, brother?
It come from the white man. He makes it.
What system? What system is it called?
System.
24/7.
Making the money. Who makes the money?
I asked her, where did the money come from? Who makes the money?
The white man makes the money.
Well, of course he makes it, but the money come from our system a long time ago.
What is it called, though?
Capital.
You just tell us.
No. There's some place where they go, they make the money. They go into a building. What is that building called? Anybody know? You know, young brother? Huh? Where they make the money at? No, not the Treasury. Oh, the Federal Reserve. Is the Federal Reserve owned by the people or is it privately owned?
Privately owned.
So you mean to tell me, young brother, that they have a building or system that they're making money that don't belong to the people?
True indeed.
Wow. So that means that, does it have gold to back it up?
Yes. There is gold to back it up. The ones who have it are, the Rothschilds, and the one that's in that bloodline have this precious metals that really is the actual money that all human resources need to survive in long term.
This is what I mean by backed up. If I go in the bank right now and take $5, right? Can I get $5 worth of gold behind that $5 bill that I have?
No.
So then it's not backed by gold then?
No.
Is it backed by silver?
Yes.
It is?
It all depends where you'll get your resources from other than just the money that you have.
If I go to the bank, can I get $5 worth of silver right now?
No.
No. So that means that there's no value then?
No, not at all.
So you mean to tell me that we walking around with all this money in our pocket, but it really don't have no value?
No value at all.
So why is it so powerful?
Because of the people that's printed it and the ones that had their faces on it to keep us locked up just behind this worthless piece of paper.
Well, that's not making it powerful. What's making it powerful that it spread it around so much. So many people have it.
Rapidly.
You know what I'm saying? Rapidly. You know what I'm saying? That's what makes it powerful and useful for us, but it has no value.
Not at all.
You know what I'm saying? Most of the things that the cracker has no value.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's this illusion. Remember, you see that movie, The Matrix?
Yes,
that's where all this shit is out here. It's a big matrix. You know what I'm saying? He's a sleight of hand. See, the crackers is slick. He show you one hand, but he got his other hand in your pocket. You feel what I'm saying? He got one hand on you and got the other hand filling your woman's ass. That's how the white man operate. That's how he get down. You understand what I'm saying to you? So we got to be very aware of that. How do we change that, though, young brother?
We changed that through self-economics and trusting with our own self. They say that black Americans was worth over $1 trillion, so where's that $1 trillion mostly coming from, and where's it looted from? We need solutions that's basically dedicated to our own self. Without yourself, you have nothing. That's what, the nation of God's taught us, and we need to have that envelope to push thoroughly. Elijah Muhammad says that you cannot integrate with this so-called white man because it'll damage the household. So we got to have so many ways to look back in our fellow elders that's doing locally and the ones who came before us. And we need to strive as always. So that's peace right there.
All right, my brother.
Peace.